What up, YouTube? T-Movies here with Star Trek Picard out now on CBS All Access. I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite Star Trek movies. Yeah, I probably could have done your best Star Trek shows instead, but I'm going to stick with the movies because there's been some really cool Star Trek films over the years. Now, like I said, I'm not really much of a Trekkie. I'm more of a Star Wars guy than a Star Trek guy. But Star Trek is still a global icon. It's one of the best science fiction stories, whether it's TV or movies and all. Have some cool characters, whether you talk about Spock, Captain Kirk, cool villains. Anyway, here are my top 10 favorite Star Trek movies. Alright, coming in at number 10. Alright, it's a bit of a cheat because technically it's not much of a Star Trek film, it's more of a spoof of it. But I will say this right now, this is definitely one of the best Star Trek movies there is. And that is Galaxy Quest. Just like how you could really interpret it, Spaceballs should be one of the best Star Wars movies if you really wanted to. Galaxy Quest is literally one of the best Star Trek films. I mean, it is a sci-fi comedy that got released in the 90s, and it does poke fun at the Star Trek tropes, and it's really funny. It's really entertaining, starring Tim Allen, Sigourney Weaver, Al Rickman, and it's where these actors of this 90s 70s sci-fi show ends up living through like reruns at sci-fi conventions, and they end up being beamed aboard a alien spacecraft, and it and the cast end up having a heroic on-screen dramas with like historical documents of real life adventures, and it's one of the best sci-fi comedies of the 90s. Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver, definitely some of their best work. Like, this is a really awesome flick. If you guys never really seen Galaxy Quest, go check it out. I'm still hoping we get a sequel because I would love to see another Galaxy Quest. Won't be the same without Alan Rickman, but hopefully we get a sequel because the original Galaxy Quest is just awesome. And speaking of Galaxy Quest, I gotta check out that documentary they had like last year. The Galaxy Quest documentary. I still never really got around to watching that. Gotta check it out. Anyway, coming in at number 9, I'm gonna go with Star Trek Generations. Now, this is one of the few Star Trek movies with Sir Patrick Stewart as Picard, and it takes place in the 23rd century, and on the Starship Enterprise ends up being dispatched to a scene of like a giant energy field about to engulf two ships. So you got William Shatner's Captain Kirk, who ends up averting calamity, and so you also got Enterprise's new commander named of course the commander is Picard, played wonderfully by Stewart. But he ends up learning that one of the disasters, a survivor named Dr. Soren, played wonderfully by Malcolm McDowell, ends up planning to enter the field by destroying a neighboring star. And so Picard must collaborate with a few other allies in order to stop them. And Soren is a really cool villain. I mean, he's obviously played by Malcolm McDowell, and Malcolm McDowell can play bad guy pretty well. And it was pretty cool seeing Stewart as Picard, William Shatner. Like, it was pretty cool seeing Captain Kirk interaction with Picard. That's pretty cool to watch. I mean, if you guys have really, and if you has a few other actors, yeah, Star Trek Genesis, Star Trek Generation, I might say, sorry, is a really cool and fun one. So if you guys haven't really seen it, definitely check that one out. All right. Coming in at number 8, I'm gonna go with Star Trek Beyond. Now, this was the last Star Trek movie that got released on the big screen, and Star Trek Beyond tragically, it was also Anton Yelchin's final final role as Chekhov. Because tragically, he passed away like a month before Star Trek Beyond got released. And I really got kicked out of Star Trek Beyond. It was directed by Justin Lin, who also did the few of the Fast and Furious movies. It had a really great villain in Idris Elba's Captain Belzar Addison Craw. I mean, I thought Idris Elba as a bad guy. Like, you know, this may be unpopular to say, but I think he's a. I've already said this a couple of times. I think Idris Elba plays a bad guy, better than he does as a good guy. Because yeah, Idris Elba is a great good guy once in a while, but I really prefer him to be a bad guy. That's why I'm actually more interested in seeing him play Bond villain more than Bond himself. But anyway, yeah, Star Trek Beyond is a really entertaining one. It was pretty cool seeing Chris Pine and Zachary Quino coming back. J.J. Abrams was still attached to it, but he mainly was like a producer, and that was mainly it. But yeah, if you guys haven't really seen Star Trek Beyond, definitely give this one a watch. All right, coming in at number 7, I'm gonna go with Star Trek: First Contact. That's where the Enterprise and its crew ends up following a Borg ship through the time warp to prevent a big Borg from taking over the Earth. And so, being stuck in the past, you got Georgie La Borg played by Ring Rainbow host LeVar Burton, ends up helping a pioneer of space travel played by James Cromwell in his effort to create his first warp. And you of course got Patrick Stewart as a Picard, Brent Spiner as Sindar Data, and you also got Alice Krish as the Borg Queen, as she also tries to take over the Enterprise. Alice Krish as the main villain, the Borg Queen, was cool casting. She could play a villain well, which I'm actually really curious. Like looking forward to check her playing the witch in that Greta Hansen movie coming out this week. But anyway, yeah, Star Trek: First Contact. It's a really iconic Star Trek film. Got released in I believe the late '90s, if I'm not mistaken. LeVar Burton is great. I mean, crazy how he also went from Star Trek to Ring Rainbow. Anyway, yeah, who does love LeVar Burton? I mean, he's the man. I kind of hope we'll see LeVar Burton back for Picard, whether it's this season or maybe season 2. I mean, yeah, it'll be cool seeing LeVar Burton come back as Forg in the future. But yeah, Star Trek: First Contact is hands down pretty awesome. All right, coming in at number 6 is the first reboot of the Star Trek film, and that is the 2009 Star Trek. Now, this was J.J. Abrams' first Star Wars film, first Star Trek movie that he directed. And you got Eric Bana as the main villain, Nero, who's this Romulan commander whose mission is to avenge his threats or mankind. And it was the debut of Chris Pine as Captain Kirk. Zach Crino made his debut as Spock. You also had Anton Yelchin make his debut as Chekhov. Simon Pegg, John Cho, Zoe Saldana. I mean, crazy to believe that the 2009 Star Trek literally turns 11 this year. I mean, talk about that. Yeah, that's really insane to believe that. And last year's the 2009 Star Trek was 10. This year it turns 11. Boy, feel old there. But anyway, yeah, I remember when they first announced that they were going to do a whole new reboot of Star Trek with J.J. Abrams directing. I was a little skeptical because I'm like, are people really interested in checking out any more Star Treks? But then the Star Trek reboot got released, and I thought it was phenomenal. And what J.J. Abrams was able to do with Star Trek was perfect. And yeah, if you guys haven't really seen the 2009 Star Trek reboot, definitely give it a shot. Alright, coming in at number 5, I'm going to go with Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Now, this is the third installment of the Star Trek series. And here you got, Captain James T. Kirk, played by William Shatner, who ends up defeating his arch enemy, but his friend Spock ends up apparently being killed. So like the USS Enterprise ends up being scrapped, and the starship physician named Dr. Leonard Bones McCoy, played wonderfully by DeFrost Kelly, ends up being taken out. And so Kirk ends up, trying to find of course he has to, go try and find Spock and all, and because he really, it turns out that he's not really dead and all. But anyway, yeah, Search for Spock is a pretty decent one. Of course we got the deadly Klingons that Kirk has to take down. Leonard Nimoy back as Spock was pretty cool right there. Yeah, this was, I guess you could say, more of like a mystery in the Star Trek universe in a weird way. I don't know if that makes any sense. But yeah, this also made Captain Kirk become pretty badass here. Yeah, if you guys haven't really seen Search for Spock yet, it's a pretty cool one. Alright. Coming in at number 4, I'm going to go with Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Now, this is technically now this film here was the first Star Trek movie to come to the big screen, because this ended up following the TV show when that premiered, and Star Trek: The Motion Picture is an iconic one. Great it was pretty cool. With William Shatner making his big screen debut as Captain Kirk. Of course, Leonard Nimoy as Spock is cool. And here you have the Federation ends up calling on Captain James T. Kirk, played by Shatner, and his crew Starship Enterprise to contain an massive interviews object that ends up crashing across with Earth. And so like after a brief investigating, the crew end up discovering that like the aliens cloud ends up harboring this artificial intelligence with a primary directive. And so you got Persis Kambata, who plays the navigator Lieutenant Ayala, who's like the abducting navigator. Yeah, the motion picture one doesn't really have the best reviews. I believe it has like a 46% Rotten Tomatoes or 45 or something like that. It's still pretty good. Like, especially if you're a fan of the TV show, I think you'll really appreciate Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Granted, this was of course ahead of my time, but man, I bet when people literally first saw Star Trek on the big screen, I bet Star Trek fans must have really blew their minds seeing one of their favorite shows of all time on the big screen. And yeah, Star Trek Motion Picture is a really great one. If you guys haven't really seen it, go check it out. Alright. Coming in at number 3, I'm going to go with Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country. Now, it's where Captain James Kirk, played by Shatner, and his crew of USS Enterprise ends up carrying Klingon Chancellor Gorkin, played by David Warner, to Earth to negotiate a peace treaty with the United Federation of Planets. And you, of course, got DeFrost Kelly as Leonard McCoy. And you even got a couple of whales in this. You've got Leonard Nimoy back as Spock, who ends up trying to figure out who is behind the the attack here. Yeah, the Undiscovered Country, the effects really still holds up. It's, of course, the whales all look pretty cool. Like, who didn't love the whales in the Undiscovered Country? And here you also have the Gorkin, who ends up being killed by the subsequent confusion, and so you got Leonard McCoy, who ends up being arrested for murder. So they got shot on the way to prove his innocent there too. Yeah, Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country is a pretty decent one. It got released in the early 90s, I believe 1991 or 1990. Yeah, I think it got released in 1999 or 1992. I know it got released in the early 90s, but yeah, it's a pretty good one. If you guys haven't really seen it, it's another Star Trek movie. Check it out. Alright, coming in at number 2, I'm going to go with far my favorite out of the sequels to the Star Trek reboot. I mean, obviously, of course, Into Darkness is number one. Of course, the 2009 one is number two, while Beyond is number three. Beyond is pretty good, but it's not really the best out of the reboots. But Star Trek Into Darkness, on the other hand, is seriously the best one. You got Benedict Cumberbatch as, okay, spoiler alert, but Cumberbatch ended up playing the role Khan, which that was some cool secret, by the way, because J.J. Abrams literally went on record to say that Benedict Cumberbatch was not going to be Spock. Spock was not going to be Khan, but then we saw the movie, and turns out Benedict Cumberbatch ended up becoming Spock. I keep saying Spock. Benedict Cumberbatch ended up being Khan. And Benedict Cumberbatch as the role Khan was awesome. I mean, he just played Khan just really well. I mean, he's not as great. Like, his Khan was not as good as the old Khan, but he still played Khan perfectly. And I think he's literally one of the best villains in the Star Trek universe. I mean, Khan, I guess you could say, is really Star Trek's Darth Vader. Khan is really cool villain. And not to mention, Star Trek Into Darkness got released in 2013, where it also faced off against stuff like, it actually opened in a pretty interesting month. It got released around the same month as Iron Man 3, Fast and Furious, Fast and Furious 6, I believe it was. Some interesting release dates there. But yeah, Star Trek Into Darkness, really fun, great effects, really breathtaking. Great performance by Cumberbatch. If you guys haven't really seen Into Darkness yet, definitely give it a shot. And not to mention, you also had Carl Urban. It was J.J. Abrams' last Star Trek movie he directed. Then of course Justin Lin ended up directing the third one, and now J.J. Abrams has mainly been busy with Star Wars. So anyway. Now, my number one favorite Star Trek movie of all time obviously goes to the iconic one, and that is the Wrath of Khan. Now, Benedict Cumberbatch, he was a great Khan, but one of the best Khans is still arguably Ricardo Montalban, man, who played the role Khan, and of course the iconic of course the iconic Khan line of Khan. That line is really iconic. I mean, that is really Star Trek's. You know how in Empire Strikes Back when Luke ends up finding out that Darth Vader is his father, and then Luke has that no sign line. That Khan line is pretty much Star Trek's version of that no line. But anyways, yeah, Star Trek Wrath of Khan. Khan is definitely one of the best villains in the Star Trek universe. Khan is really Star Trek's Joker. Khan is Star Trek's Darth Vader. He is definitely one of the best sci-fi villains ever too. And here you have Captain James Kirk and Captain Spock, who ends up monitoring these trainees at this Starfleet Academy. And so two of Kirk's officers ends up being captured by Khan, and so Kirk, who is a enemy that Kirk never really thought he'll ever see. So, and the showdown between Kirk and Khan is pretty cool. This is really Star Trek's Empire Strikes Back. You know how Empire Strikes Back is even better than A New Hope? Star Trek Wrath of Khan, which ended up being like a sequel to Star Trek Motion Picture, that is really Star Trek's Empire Strikes Back. It is just iconic, really fun, one of the best sci-fi sequels there is. Definitely go check out Wrath of Khan if you guys haven't seen it. To me, is arguably the best Star Trek movie there ever. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. 10, Galaxy Quest. 9, Star Trek Generations. 8, Star Trek Beyond. 7, Star Trek First Contact. 6, Star Trek. 5, Star Trek Into Darkness, and one is Star Trek The Wrath of Khan. Now, there's a few other ones I probably could have added. Let's see, the Voyage Home, The Far Frontier. Let's see, there's Nemesis, which was, of course, the last time we ever saw Patrick Stewart as Picard. Yeah, some really good Star Trek films around. But let me leave to you guys. What are some of your favorite Star Trek movies? And for the heck of it, were you ever a fan of the Star Trek movies or the Star Trek TV shows? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here's Team Movie Site.